All right, good morning, guys. This morning we're going to start with science. So we'll be looking at a brain pop video very quickly. So let me bring that up. We'll be watching that and talking about what you need to do with it.
Miss Blackmon?
Yes.
What, there's something new on the thing. There's a little hand there.
Yep. I know it's there. Okay. The little hand that's there, is for testing. If you have a question, you touch that little hand and it comes up in the comment box, so I know you have a question. All right. We are going to be watching the video on the respiratory system. Again, please mute your mics.
Can't do it. Dear Tim and Moby, why do we breathe? From Min. Hey, you're talking about the respiratory system. We have to breathe to live, but I bet most people don't know exactly why. Your body can store up a lot of the nutrients it needs, but it can't store the one thing that you need all the time.
Yes.
An invisible gas called oxygen. Inside your body, oxygen allows all your cells to make energy so they can function properly.
What do you mean it disconnected you?
Since
You're still here.
Store it, your body takes it in all the time in a process called breathing. Breathing is the main function of the respiratory system, which in complex animals is responsible for carrying air to the lungs. Here's how it works in humans. Everyone has two lungs in their chest. Your lungs are surrounded by your rib cage, and they rest on a dome-shaped muscle called the diaphragm. Every time you take a breath, the diaphragm contracts and moves downward, and your rib cage expands. This causes a drop in air pressure inside your lungs, which the higher pressure air from outside rushes in to equalize. When you inhale, air enters your body through your nose or your mouth. It travels down the trachea or windpipe to your lungs. Inside the lungs, air moves into smaller and smaller passages called bronchial tubes. Eventually, the air spreads to the alveoli. The alveoli are tiny sacs surrounded by blood vessels called capillaries. Oxygen moves through the walls of the alveoli and capillaries and into the blood. Well, the alveoli and capillary walls are only like one cell thick, so it's pretty easy. Oh no, there's more. When your lungs take oxygen in, they send carbon dioxide out. Carbon dioxide is a harmful waste gas that you have to get rid of. It's made in your cells and travels through the blood into your heart, which pumps it back into capillaries around your alveoli. Your diaphragm relaxes and moves upward, which deflates your lungs and makes you exhale this used air. And so on. That's breathing. That's pretty close, Moby. Our lungs don't fly around the room or anything, but they do inflate and deflate, just like a balloon. I'd say breathing is pretty important. You want to do all you can to keep your lungs in good working order. Regular exercise helps keep your lungs in shape. And you should steer clear of things that are bad for your lungs, like smoking. Smoking damages your cilia, little hairs inside your bronchial tubes that help remove unwanted matter from the lungs. In the long term, smoking can give you lung cancer and emphysema, a disease that makes it difficult to breathe. Right, and you should avoid air pollution too. And toxic waste. And poisonous gas. I think they get the point.
All right. All right, so the respiratory system is what you're going to be watching today. I need you to take notes on especially the vocabulary that he gives you. So the words come up, villi, bronchial tubes. You need to write that down and write what those mean. All right, that's all you're doing for science today. Does anybody have any questions about science? Okay, you do not need to send me the notes. Do not send me the notes. All right, we're gonna move on to math. So if you have the math pages printed out, we're gonna be looking at page 569. 569. And I'm just going to check to make sure none of these people ever got on. Salvador, David, Brenalise, Ramel, Angelo, Sophia Brito, Mia, Emmanuel, Asia, Joshua. All right, so if you notice on 569, we're going to start working with time. Now, on time, you can't always just add or subtract. It's just like any other problem where you may have to regroup. All right, so looking at the top of the page, it says find 2 hours plus 2 hours 32 minutes plus 3 hours 40 minutes. So they write it as a addition problem. And they got 5 hours and 72 minutes. How many minutes are in 1 hour? 60. So 60. So I'm going to take 1 hour out of that minute. So I'll subtract 72 from 60. That gives me 12 minutes left. And I add that 1 hour to the 5 to now make it 6 hours. Okay? No, Miliani, you did not. All right, look at subtracting. It says find 5 hours, 8 minutes minus 2 hours, 32 minutes. All right, so the 5 hours, 8 minutes goes on top minus the 2 hours, 32 minutes on the bottom. Can I subtract 32 from 8? No. So I have to go to the 5 hours and take an hour out. So the 5 becomes 4. How many minutes are in an hour? 60. So I add that 60 plus the 8, so I get 68. So now I can subtract 68 minus 32 is 36. 4 minus 2 is 2 hours.
How did you get to 60?
Because there's 60 minutes in an hour.
What number are you on?
I am not on a number. I'm looking at the top examples.
Okay.
All right. I want to go to number 2. How many minutes are in 6 1/4 hours? So how many minutes are in an hour?
60.
60. So I'm going to write my 60 times my 6 1/4. All right, now I'm going to do this the same way I did it last time. I'm going to say 60 times 6 plus 60 times 1/4. Just like we did the other day, where we broke it apart. We broke the whole number away from the fraction. Now, I know 6 times 6 is 36, and I need to add 1 0. Plus, this would be 60/4. All right. All right, now I'm going to figure out what my whole number and fraction is going to be here first. So I take that 4 and divide it into 60. 4 goes into 6 one time. That gives me a 2. Bring down my 0. 4 goes into 25 times. So I get the whole number of 15.
I can't see the... I
All right.
get it.
Okay, this is nothing different from what we've done, guys. You did this last week. This is number 2. Okay, you had 60, because there's 60 minutes in an hour, times the number of hours, 6 1/4. Then you break this apart into a whole number and a fraction. So 60 times 6, 60 times 1/4. 60 times 6, 6 times 6 is 36 with 1 0. 60 times 4 is 60/4. This is nothing new. Absolutely nothing new. Now, I need to change this into the number of hours and if I have any left over. Okay, so I divide 4 into 60 and I get 15 with a remainder of 0. So I get the whole number 15. So I'm going to add the 360 plus the whole number of 15. If I add those, I get 573. 375 minutes are in 6 1/4 hours. This is absolutely nothing different from last week. Nothing at all. It's just time instead of just fractions. All right, let's look at number 3. It says, how many weeks are in 7,077 days? How many days are in 1 week?
7.
7. So I'm going to have 77, sorry. 7,077 divided by 7. Because that's how many days are in a week. So I'm going to divide it out. 7 into 7,077. 7 goes into 7 one time. I subtract. I bring down. 7 goes into 0 0 times. I subtract. Bring down. 7 goes into 7 one time. I subtract. Bring down. 7 goes into 7 one time. I subtract, and I have a remainder of 0. So, how many weeks are in 7,077 days? 1,011.
1011. Okay. That's an 11.
Okay? Nothing more than subtracting or multiplying or dividing. All right. Let's move to number 4.
Wait. So the 1011 is your final answer?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Number 4 says 8 hours and 30 minutes.
Miss Blackmon,
Yes.
I didn't. What's it called? I disconnected from the class, so I don't know what you guys were doing. Or
We're on number 4.
okay.
All right. So we have 8 hours, 30 minutes, plus 7 hours, 35 minutes. I'm just going to add. So 0 plus 5 is 5. 3 plus 3 is 6. And I'm going to write minutes. And then 8 plus 7 is 15 hours. Now, can I leave it like this? The answer is no, because I have more minutes than I need. So, how many minutes are in 1 hour?
60.
60. So I'm going to subtract 60 minutes here. That'll give me 5 minutes left over. And I'm going to add 1 hour here because I took out 60 minutes for 1 hour. That gives me 16 hours. So my answer is 16 hours, 5 minutes. Yes. Say it again. Page 569. Page 569. So I'd get 16 hours, 5 minutes. All right, let's look at number 5. All right, before we go on, Salvador, did you join us? David? David, did you join us? Brenna Lees, did you join us? Ramel, did you join us? Sophia Brito, did you join us? Sophia Brito? Sophia Brito, are you here? Okay, she may still be logging on. Emmanuel? Emmanuel? Asia? Asia? Joshua? Joshua? Sophia Brito? Sophia Brito? All right, moving on to number 5. Number 5 says 2 years, 5 months, minus 9 months. All right, the first thing we have to know is, can we subtract 9 from 5? No. So we have to figure out how many months are in 1 year. How many months are in 1 year? There's a chart on your page to help you out. And if you look, it says 12 months is 1 year. So I'm going to borrow a year, so the 2 becomes a 1. And I'm going to add my 12 months to the 5. So 12 and 5 is 17. Now I can subtract. 9 minus 17 is 8 months. 1 minus 0 is 1. So I get 1 year, 8 months. All right, number 6. We have 8 times 1/4 hour.
Miss Blackman?
Yes.
I thought number 5 was going to be 1 year, 6 months, not 8.
What is 17 minus 9?
17?
Yeah, what did you get? You got 15. You didn't add the 12. Yeah, you added a 10. So you added 10 months for 1 year. How many months are in a year?
12?
12. That's what you've got to add over to the months. All right. Number 6 says 8 times 1/4 of an hour. So 8 over 4. I divide. So 4 goes into 8 2 times. So this equals 2 hours.
Miss Blackman, I don't get that one.
All you're doing is multiplying a whole number by a fraction. It's the same thing we did last week. 8 times 1/4. 8 times 1 is 8 over 4. And then I divide. 4 into 8 goes in 2 times. That's all it is.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Then number 7. All right, number 7 says, how many weeks are in 588 days? And it tells you what to divide. 7 into 588. So this is exactly what you're doing. You're just dividing. So 7 into 5 won't work. 7 into 58 goes 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56. You subtract. You get a 2. Bring down the 8. 7 into 28 goes 4 times. That gives me 28. Subtract, I get 0. So my answer is 84 weeks. So you should have gotten on number 4, 16 hours, 5 minutes. On number 5, 1 year, 8 months. On number 6, 2 hours. On number 7, 84 weeks. All right, let's look at the homework. 570. Page 571, I'm sorry, page 571. I would like you to do number 1 and number 2. Everybody right now do number 1 and number 2.
Excuse me, Miss Blackman.
Yes.
What page is it again?
571. All right, number 1 and number 2 is what you're supposed to be working. Now, adding and subtracting these is just like anything else. You always start on the right-hand side, or the left-hand side, I'm sorry. When you got your paper in front of you, it's your left-hand side. So, we start with minutes. 2 plus 5 is 7. 1 plus 1 is 2, so that's 27 minutes. And 3 plus 8 is 11, so that's 11 hours, 27 minutes. Do I need to change anything, or is that one okay?
That one is okay.
Yes, that one is okay because the minutes are not over 60 and the hours are not over 24, because if it's over 24, it makes 1 day. So we're good here. This is the answer. All right, let's look at number 2. Can I take 6 from 5? No, I can't.
No.
So I've got to take 1 week. So this 9 becomes an 8. And I can put weeks here so I remember. How many days are in a week? 7. So I've got to add 7 to the 5. So 5 plus 7 is 12 days. Now can I subtract? Yes. 6 minus 12 is 6 days. And 8 minus 1 is 7 weeks. So my answer is 7 weeks, 6 days. All right, do number 3 for me. Do number 3. Remember to look at your chart and look at minutes and seconds and hours and everything. Salvador, did you ever come on? Salvador? David? David? Brenalise? Ramel? Angelo? Sophia Brito? Sophia Brito? Emmanuel? Asia? Joshua? All right. All right. Yes.
This is Christopher. Did you got me on the list?
No, I already got you here. All right. So again, we start with the seconds. Can I add 20 plus 45? Yes, I can. So I'm just going to add all the way across before I do anything. So this is 65 seconds. This is 61 minutes. And this is 11 hours. Now, I can't leave it that way because I know there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So I subtract 60, I get 5 seconds. I add the minute here, so now I'm up to 62 minutes. I know there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, so I subtract the 60, so now I have 2 minutes. And then I add the 1 hour to the 11, so that's 12 hours. So I would have gotten 12 hours, 2 minutes, and 5 seconds. 12 hours, 2 minutes, and 5 seconds.
Where did you get those 2 minutes from?
Because you had 62 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And 60 minutes is 1 hour, so I have to subtract 62 minus 60, and I get the 2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, I want you right now to do 6 or I'm sorry, 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6.
Excuse me, what was about the seconds?
It would be 12 hours, 2 minutes, and 5 seconds. So now you're doing 4, 5, and 6. Remember to use your box up at top so you know how many's in a decade. All right, let's look at number 4. Number 4 says 1 decade, 8 years, minus 9 years. 1 decade, 8 years, minus 9 years. All right, can I subtract 9 from 8? No. So I've got to borrow. So the decade becomes 0. How many decades are in 1 year? Look at the chart. 10. So I need to add 10 to this side. So this becomes an 18.
And you subtract 9 from 18 of
Yep.
9.
And you get 9 years. No, Miliani, it's not 9 decades. It's 9 years. 0 decades. Lillian, what's your question?
I'm having trouble with all of this.
I know. This will be the only lesson I teach on this, and then we'll move on. You're not tested on this, but you need to know this. You need to kind of have an idea about this for 5th grade.
Okay.
All right. The next one says 12 days, 6 hours, plus 8 days, 18 hours. So I just add 6 and 8 is 14. 1 and 1 is 2. So I get 24 hours. And then 8 and 2 is 10. And 1 and 1 is 20. So I get 20 days and 24 hours. What do you know about 24 hours?
24 hours is 1 day.
Is 1 day. So I'm going to make this 24 hours 1 day. So this is equal to 21 days was your answer. 21 days. Guys, I know this is difficult, but if you can kind of get the concept of looking at the box, and that's whatever it is, that's what you add to that side when you're subtracting. All right, number 6. Again, you have to start over here with the months. 6 minus 3, I can't do, so I need to borrow a year. So this becomes 3 years. How many months are in a year?
12.
12. So I add 12 to the 3. So now I'm at 15. 15 minus 6 is what? $15 minus 6 is 9. So far I've got 9 months. So far I've got 9 months. All right. Can I subtract 5 from 3? No. So I need to take away a decade. How many decades are in it? How many years are in one decade? 10. So I need to add 10 to the 13, or to the 3. That gives me 13. And that gives me 13. Now, 13 minus 5 is 8 years. 4 minus 2 is 2 decades. So I would have 2 decades, 8 years, 9 months. 2 decades, 8 years, 9 months.
Excuse me.
Yes.
What was number 5 again? 21 days.
21 days, even. Ramel, are you here? Ramel? Ramel, are you here?
Miss Blackman,
Hold on. Sophia Brito, are you here? Sophia Brito.
I'm here, Miss Blackman.
Okay, thank you. Gotcha. Ramel. Ramel. Okay, he was on, now he's off. Ramel, if you're here, type here in the box. I don't see him on yet. Okay, we'll give him a few minutes. All right, I had some other questions. All right, let's move on. Let's go to number 7, 8, and 9. Do 7, 8, and 9. Those are just multiplying and dividing. 7, 8, and 9. Number 7 says, how many weeks are in 42 days? So I'm going to do 42 divided by 7. Number 8, it tells us exactly what to get. 8 times 3/4. And number 9, it says how many minutes are in 9 and 1/4 hours? So that's 60 times 9 and 1/4. Work those quickly. Ramel, are you here? Ramel? Ramel? Emmanuel? Emmanuel? All right, Salvador. Salvador, are you here? Salvador. David. David. Brenalise. Brenalise. Ramel. I see you, Ramel. Thank you. Angelo. Emmanuel. Asia. Joshua. All right. All right, let's look at 7, 8, 9, and 10. 7, we had 7. 42 divided by 7. How many times does 7 go into 42, guys? 6. So that's my answer, 6. And that would be weeks. So 6 weeks gives us 42 days. All right, this one. 8 times 3 is 24 over 4.
Can you put the phone closer?
8 times 3 is 24 over 4. How many times does 4 go into 24?
6.
6. So that would be 6 hours. All right, last one. 60 times 9 plus 60 times 1 over 4. Just like we did last week. 6 times 9 is 54. Add the 0 plus 60 over 4. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to change this. So I'm going to go up here and say 4 divided into 60. 4 goes into 6 one time. Subtract. Bring down. 4 goes into 25 times. Subtract. I get 0. So this is actually 15. So I have 540 plus 15 equals. So it's 5, 5, 5. And that would be minutes. So you get 555 minutes.
Which one are you doing?
I did 6 or 7, 8, and 9 on page 571. Again, 7 was 6 weeks. 8 was 6 hours. And 9 was 555 minutes. Now, I know that y'all did not completely understand this. And that is okay. It's an introduction. In other words, we only have 1 page in our book that goes over this. So this is an introduction to where you're going to start in 5th grade. Do not worry if you are not getting the concept. All right? You have no homework tonight except to watch Brain Pop and take your notes. Okay? Brain Pop, respiratory system, and take your notes. And then I would suggest that you just look over your math homework and make sure that you kind of get the idea. Like I said, you don't have to totally get it, but you kind of get the idea. All right? Are there any questions?
Tomorrow do we have class?
Yes, we have class tomorrow. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow.
Do we have a test tomorrow?
No, we do not. I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all need to go to ELA. Lillian, what's your question?
Miss Black, are we next time we come to class? Are we gonna do the same thing that we did today?
No. Like I said, this is just an introduction. We have no more lessons like this in our book.
Okay.
Bye.
No, wait. Bye, Miss Black.
Bye.
Never mind.
Bye, everybody. Bye. If you have a question, you can stay on, but if not, you can leave.